The miracle of the Archangels in the holy monastery of Dochiarii in Mount Athos of northern Greece. It's a peninsula of northern Greece that has 20 monasteries for monks. No women are allowed. And this miracle took place about 1,000 years ago. During the reign of the Emperor Nicephorus III Votandiazis, 1078 to 1081 AD, he rested on Mount Athos in the location of Daphne, the monk Ephthemios with his entourage. However, after an invasion by the Saracens, they were forced to leave and settle in the place where the Dochiarii monastery is today. They built the monastery there. Most monasteries on Mount Athos were built about 1,000 years ago. This was one of them, Dochiarii. So Ephthemios was succeeded by his nephew Neophytos. Neophytos had a great fortune in the world. He was very rich, which he now used to build a church and secure the monastery with a walled castle and a tower. But he was sad because the money was not enough for the canonization of the temple. He then asked for God's help and responded with the following miracle. 60 miles from Mount Athos, on the island of Logos, the monastery had a little tiny monastery, Metochi it's called, and nearby was an ancient pillar with the inscription, "Whoever hits me on the head will find plenty of gold." So that's what the pillar said. It had an inscription saying, "Whoever hits me on the head will find plenty of gold." Many tried, throwing stones at the top of the pole, but to no avail. Once a 20-year-old youth, a laborer in the metochi of the monastery, after much thought, decided to dig in a place where the shadow of the top of the pillar fell at sunrise. As he dug, he found a marble slab, and beneath it a large copper pot full of gold coins. Happy with the find, he covers the container and runs to the monastery. "Elder," he says confidently to Abbot Neophytos, "I found a lot of gold in our stock. Give a blessing for monks to come so that we can bring it to the monastery." The abbot called 3 monks, who guided the youth, removed the bronze together with the marble that covered it, got into the boat and started for the monastery. But the monks could not resist the temptation. They thought of throwing the worker into the sea and grabbing the gold for themselves. So they did. When it began to get dark, they tied the marble around the young man's neck and threw him into the sea. As he was sinking, he shouted, "Holy Archangels, save me!" Immediately, the Archangels Michael and Gabriel appeared as golden-winged eagles, grabbed him from the bottom and carried him in a flash into the church of Dochiarii on Mount Athos. The monks in the meantime divided the gold, hid it outside the monastery, and themselves remained in the arson. The young man inside the church was terrified and fell asleep. When the bell sounded and the churchman went to open the church, he saw the youth inside, the young man, and was frightened. He then runs to the abbot and says, "Elder, I saw a ghost in the church and I can't enter." "Don't be afraid," he answers him. "Make your cross and go forward with courage." The monk made the second attempt, but again saw the youth. He then called the abbot, who found that the phenomenon was real. The young man was real. He wasn't a ghost. The young man was sleeping on the ground with the stone tied around his neck. The old man struck down his staff, and the youth woke up. "Where am I?" he asked. "It seems to me that I am in the sea, where the monks threw me." "Don't you know where you are? You are in the monastery inside the church. I am Abbot Neophytos, so tell me, how did you get here?" The youth asked to be left for a while to recover, and then told what had happened. In the morning, the abbot met those 3 monks, who had meanwhile gone up to the monastery, and asked them, "Fathers, what happened to the treasure?" "It was a lie, old man," they answered. In other words, they told the 3 monks told a lie to their abbot. "It was a lie, elder," they answered. "The young man cheated us, so we threatened him and left him." "Good, let's go to the church now to thank God," said the abbot. Entering the temple, they were amazed to see the youth with the stone tied around his neck. They were so surprised that they were speechless. The abbot threatened them, and they brought all the treasure to the monastery. Then he banished them forever, while the young man shaved his head and became a monk. He painted the church and dedicated it to Saints Dochiarii, Michael, and Gabriel, to Saints Archangels Michael and Gabriel. This is an excerpt from the book Appearances and Miracles of Angels of the Holy Monastery Parakletos Oropos Attica, 2004. That's one of the books that I read before, in the beginning of my conversion. And a lot of times, when we read about saints or angels, our Lord gives us, He prepares us so that we have knowledge of how close angels are to us, so that when they do appear to us, we are not frightened. And He does give us personal spiritual experiences of His angels. Thank goodness. I'm not going to go and tell you my personal experiences, but angels are all around us. So this is one of the miracles that took place about 1,000 years ago. I've translated this from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. God bless you all. Tomorrow is the feast of the Holy Archangels, Michael and Gabriel. The feast is always celebrated annually on November 8th. Thank you. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.